Mo Lang Tin Jun. Hello everyone, this is Ji Sifu again from Tin Yat Dragon's YouTube channel. Today is another talk show, part 2 of this talk show, talking about the afterlife, the life of a ghost and stuff like that. Now my part 1 explained how the ghost life is formed and how it feels when you're dead and stuff like that. So it's definitely not a blackout. There's a lot of crazy shit in front of you and you have to understand what you're facing, why it is like that, in order to fix the problem. Okay, so we are all not like naturally everyone hates to die. Everyone is scared of death, and there is a reason behind, because we inside ourselves, the subconsciousness of yourself knows that after death is indeed very scary. Okay, so it is very scary. Yeah. It is scary, come on. Okay, so after we know it's so scary, what's next? Well, the next thing is to make sure that you're not going to be in the hand of these evil stuff, or not the ones who are going to be suffering in that venting and grumpy kind of world for a long time, that kind of stuff. Okay, so let's talk about how to be less suffering. Okay, at least like okay, when you're dead, okay, there's some stuff to make sure that you don't do in order to die better. Okay, first of all, we have to understand the theory of yin and yang, positive, negative. Okay, the yang is the positive. Always output your energy. Always output. When you're full, you output like that. Okay. When you are negative, okay, like the yin, negative, you always want to intake because you have nothing inside. So do not die with empty stomach or feeling hungry and feeling empty inside yourself. And it's a bad idea to die from loneliness, because it's always empty inside, right? When you're lonely, it's a bad idea to die with all kinds of negative feelings, like, oh, I'm feeling scared, afraid, that kind of stuff. You want to die in a very positive way. So always get yourself something good to eat. Okay. Something like maybe something you would like to eat, okay? And then be happy. Don't die with like tons of complaints and this I don't like, that I don't like, why is this not here? Okay, so die better. And then also remember that you want to die in a better position. A lot of people die lying down like a sick person. But if you can sit upright and die like that, you can actually do better. Because why? Because your the top of the head right here, okay, the top of the head is where the soul vents out. So if your head is pointing up, this will allow the soul to pump out and carries a lot more energy to ascend upward and get neutralized. So it helps you to your soul to shoot up better. Okay, but if you're lying down, the soul is not as active and it needs to go to the side and stay for a while, longer time, until it starts to vent out from the top and bottom. So lying down to die is not a good idea. If you can sit up and die, it's better. Okay, and also don't die in like fear, panic, and that kind of stuff. Stay calm. Stay still. Don't move around. Okay, stay still. Stay calm. Stay very positive minded. And one more thing is don't try to like listen to this and that and follow things and be sucked in by things. Okay, don't try to be so curious when you're seeing stuff around. Okay, when you're curious at that stage, that is the best time for you to be tricked and be kidnapped by those what we call the evil gods or the spiritual mafias. Okay, so do not be tricked and be too curious. Do not like, oh, this is, what is this? And then you want to like look and what? And then, like that. Don't. Okay? Don't ask questions. Don't think. Stay still. Okay? Still. As in like your mind is very still. You're not moving. Your mind's not moving. I just sit and wait to see what's coming up. That's what you want to do. Okay? Now, if you have the choice of dressing up better, dying better, you would like to dress up in something that allows you to output all the energies out, which is pure white. Okay? That's even better. If you can't, it's fine. Okay? So, so after this, another thing is when you are at the stage where your soul energy is sinking down, okay? And then you come back up. Basically, it's all about the yeep, okay? The negative, stuck or clogged energy inside you. That is the problem, which is the thing that pulls you in that very scary world for a long time, okay? That's the main thing. And the second thing is the heart energy, the heart that is attached to things in this world that make you not able to go back down and start venting, okay? Because it's like, okay, I'm a ghost and I go down and I suffer, I vent, okay? That's fine. That is like a normal kind of ghost life. But if you are not doing well, you will be not going into that world yet, but you're always staying up here where the human is. And that's not your world. And in this world, because you're so attached to things around you or people are attached to you, and it just pulls you here and don't let you go. Okay? If you cannot go down, then you cannot start doing what you're supposed to do as a ghost. Then you will be suffering a lot right there. So people like relatives and things should like, okay, if you're doing funeral, fine, do it and then forget about it. Don't think about it. Don't talk about it. Don't be like, oh, I miss you so much and always feel sad and stuff like that. Okay, that's not good. Okay, don't do it. You can like do it the first day, but after that, just forget about it. Okay, like move on. We say move on. When you move on, then he or she will also move on, right? So basically, you have to really let go of this person. Okay, he's done. He's gone. He's not going to come back. There's nothing's going to happen if you feel very sad and stuff about this person and let him still stay up here, right? So he won't come back anyway. So just let him go. That's the best thing. And then also when he's down in that underworld where he's feeling and like venting and doing all kinds of crazy stuff back down there, that is the time when he want to vent and vent off his negative energy. Okay, it's all about those clogged and stuck energy inside him for the whole life. So in order to fix the problem and shorten his time suffering down there, the most important thing is to neutralize these negative energy with the positive ones. And how the Chinese does it, the Chinese method, is to open what we call the ancestor altar. The ancestor altar opens a channel to this person down there in the other world. And what happened is every day you are going through this channel to input your energy, your positive energy to the altar. And then the positive energy will be sent to this person. And basically because the energy, the positive negative comes together, they neutralize. So the longer you keep this thing going on and on every day, the more this being or this person who is dead can be neutralized. And the less and less they feel grumpy, angry, mad, and that kind of stuff down there. And that's when we call, the soul is very settled. Okay, like not going crazy anymore. The soul is acting up very crazy, not because he wants to, it's because the soul energy is in that kind of state. It's a very negative state. When you neutralize the soul, the person will get very calm. So you want to neutralize and help him to get rid of that status where he's like always mad and not happy and negative and all that stuff, right? So when you are doing things to the ancestor altar, you're non-stop inputting positive energy to this altar. So the worst thing you can do is always go and be super grumpy, talking about sad stuff and crying and stuff in front of the altar. Because what happens is when you keep doing these things, you are also putting negative energy into the altar, and it just makes him worse and worse. So what you want to do is the opposite. You want to always give positive, lively, happy energy. Okay, you want this positive energy to help this person to neutralize his soul. And when he's neutralized, he will be beaming up to his own spiritual planetary body and move on. Now, what happened if the person actually went back into his Yun Sun, the spiritual planetary body, and you still have that ancestor altar? Well, what happened is your altar is connected to this person, right? And that means it also connects to the Yun Sun as well. So when you keep pumping in the positive energy also goes to the him inside the Yun Sun planet as well. Now these positive and the positive of the Yun Sun, okay? The positive energy on that planet and the positive energy from you will combine and empowers. So all you're doing is sending him more energy to make him better. And so even he's in the Yun Sun, it makes it better and more positive. Now if he's dead in the Yun Sun, he's maybe accident happened, something like that, and he's dead. What happened is he move on to the next life and keep cycling. At the same time, because the Yun Sun is still linked up with the ancestor altar, when you keep doing your incense and stuff like that to offer your positive energy, all these things can go from the altar and loop to the Yun Sun and to his next life as well. So if he is a person in the next life already, he's born, okay, he will still be getting benefit from this ancestor altar every day, pumping in positive energy over. What happened when human get a lot of these positive energies pumped to them? Well, you feel more positive. So your inside is going to be more and more happy and positive thinking and things like that. At the same time, you will also get a stronger body, and your outside, let's say your condition, your living standard, things like that, will also be inclined toward a better route, a nicer environment to live in, things like that. So having an ancestor altar for some important relative is actually a good idea if you actually care about them and want to help them out. Because even they're dead and they're down there, you cannot see them anymore, but your mind, okay, your heart is always connected to them, and they can feel you. They can also be beaming energies up here and reach you. Sometimes they will say, oh, I dream of my whatever who passed away. Sometimes you feel them around. That is when they are sending up their stuff to you. And because these ghosts down there, they're the negative side of beings, right? So the stuff that they can send up is actually not good for you, because they're the negative side of energy. They will consume your positive energy on the surface and make you weaker, make you more bad luck, and get you sick and stuff like that. So you want them to not be a nice ghost staying down there. You want them to move on from the ghost and go back up to the Yun Sun and then cycle onto their next life as possible. You want that to happen as soon as possible, so that they will not be always sending you the negative energy from below and go up. Now, these beings, when they are at the Yun Sun, the spiritual planetary body, they are still able to sense, as in like the mind, to sense you, the people who are related to them. So a lot of people understand when, let's say, your father is dead, your grandfather is dead, and you're very close to them before, they will always kind of like bless you, meaning that they will be sending energies to you. And what they're sending over is actually the pre-heaven energy. It's kind of like when we do magic, pre-heaven energy. So what does pre-heaven energy do? Well, it goes into things you're doing and help you to add potentials. So it's like if you're running and then you ask your father to help you, bless you, something like that. Well, it gives you more potential power and it creates opportunities for you, and it affects the feeling inside your mind. So when you're running, you're not actually like physically more powerful, but inside you, you will have more courage. You feel that you can make it, that kind of power. And because of that mind power, you can make the impossible become possible. It's like when you're at a war, okay? A lot of people are fighting in a war. Everyone is starving, thirsty. And then when the general comes up and say, look, there's a plum tree up there. There's a plum forest. Everyone's happy, hyped up, and they think that there is something out there. They will all be energetic again and move on. They're physically already drained out, but because of this intention of this thing inside their mind, the hope, it makes them go whoosh and move again. The same thing goes to this kind of stuff. Where the pre-heaven energy from the dead people comes to you when they're at the Yun Sun stage, what they can pump down is the positive, sorry, not positive. They're more inclined toward positive, but they're the neutral energy that comes to you. These neutral energy comes to you and basically adds potential. Because they're neutral, they can be used positively or negatively, depending on what you're doing. So if you're doing something and you need more potential, you need these neutral energy. So they send you the neutral energy from the Yun Sun, right? And pump it to you. That's the help you get from these beings. But if they're still under there at the ghost stage, what they can send up is all negative. It's all bad stuff. You don't want them, okay? So you want to make sure that these people are cycled back to the Yun Sun first, because before they can be like blessing you from their world. Very simple, right? You don't want this, you want this, okay? Now, after a while when they're done, like they're off to the next life, then basically they will have like a wipeout of their memory. They don't remember the past life anymore. And basically it's a new start. But your ancestor altar is still connected. So from time to time, there will also be the neutral or the positive energy from this world, okay, from the altar, and go to their next life and help them in a positive way. But if you don't treat this altar nicely and send them negative stuff, it will also go over as negative stuff, okay? So it depends. But basically, that's the idea of why you want to have the altar going. Usually, we'll do like some kind of ritual ceremony to get them kick-started, meaning to dissolve their negative energy and neutralize them and help these beings to go back to the Yun Sun as soon as possible. Now when they're there, then we'll suggest the people to open the ancestor altar and keep doing incense and all kinds of stuff to upload your positive energy to these beings, okay, these people up there, so that they can also return you back with the neutral energy if they want to bless you, or they can be going to their next life and you can still help them to make their next life better. So basically that's what we do. And with the Taoist Magic, okay, that's what we can do to neutralize them, to help them remove and reduce all that negative stuff on them that is the burden pulling them down at this very suffering and scary state. And basically, if you don't have anyone helping you, then it will take quite a while for you to remove yourself from this suffering stage to go back to the Yun Sun. So it's pretty hard, and that's why people cultivate and learn and cultivate Taoist Magic in their lifetime to make sure that they have enough power to help their ancestor, to help their people that they know to do better when they're dead. And when you're inside a lineage, let's say when you're learning under my lineage, okay, well, you also cultivate yourself. And your soul is not like an ordinary soul when you die. Because the first thing is you cultivate a lot of stuff when you're alive and you have this magic power on you. So when you're dead, the neutral energy is much stronger than the negative ones. So you have a better control over the whole body of you when you're dead, like not the physical body, okay? So normal soul just sit there and don't know how to move, don't know how to function, just like a baby is just born. The baby don't know how to walk and stand and stuff like that, right? Now, because you're all trained and prepared, when you're dead, okay, when you're dead, you can have full control over yourself. You know what you're doing and you can see things better and things like that. And you don't go through as much suffering stuff, okay? And one more thing is, if you're practicing enough, you're cultivating enough, your lineage is helping you. And so what happened is you will be going on a different route. You will be first very quickly skipping the step of going downward into that very suffering world. You'll skip that and go back to the Yun Sun right away. And the Yun Sun, the spiritual planetary body, and you all together will be pulled into the lineage network. And the lineage network then brings you to what we call the pre-heaven side of the universe, the Dai Law team, another world, okay, which is where you will be born. So basically, that's the difference between a normal person and a practitioner of Taoist magic. Because you, when you're not dead yet, you already know where you're going after death. What's the destination, which is the Tao, like your Dou, okay, where your Tao, your destiny is. So when we are dead, we understand we are not going to here, not going to the Yun Sun, but we're going to skip and go to the Yun Sun, and then go to the Tao, to where the start point of nature is, and become back to this what we call the perfect being of nature. So basically, that's a deeper side of things. But right now, you know, for a good start, you understand a lot more about how it's like and why you need help from people around when you're dead. Because you really cannot control stuff yourself. If you don't have people helping you from this world, everything is very chaotic. It's very scary. It's suffering. Okay, so you want people around to help you. Just like here, when you're born, you have people around to help you. Well, you're lucky. Down there, if you're dead and you don't have anyone to help, then you're off your own, and there's a lot of things you cannot do. You don't know what's going to happen and things like that. Scary. Okay, so at the end, I would like to give you some tips, such as, let's say, if you're going to a funeral, what kind of color clothing should you wear, and things like that. Well, going to a funeral, if you're wearing white color, that's almost like the best color. Why white? Because white color is like exposing the light, exposing outward. It's always outputting energy. Okay? So when these negative energy comes up, your own energy neutralizes them. And basically, these negative stuff cannot attach to you as much. And also, you help these things to cycle and neutralize. And basically, it's a good helping force for this dead person to get neutralized. And then, if you're wearing black, like most Westerners are, if you're wearing black absorb. Okay, so what happens is these negative energy come in, and you have a great magnetic power to pull this person to where you are at the funeral. Okay, so the soul is very quickly sucked to this place because you have this suction force, this intaking energy right here. So at the same time, it allows the negative energy on the soul, the yip, the clogged energy, to quickly distribute to everyone who is wearing black. And well, these things then get stuck by here, here, here. It gets distributed very quickly. So everyone get bad luck, sick, grumpy, not happy, and stuff like that very quickly, because you intake the stuff. But at the same time, it's also a kind of way to like help this dead person to get neutralized faster because you take the load for him. So like you can say both color black and white works, but it depends on what you like to do. For me, I will for sure choose white. It makes more sense to not let things come into me because I don't need that stuff. Okay, I can be helping this person to reduce his negative energy by doing magic, not by having myself to absorb it first. Right? Does that make sense? Anyway, and also there are colors that you will want to avoid, such as let's say navy blue, that kind of color is bad because blue will make this negative energy contain into your body and become one. So you don't want that to happen. And you don't want red because red will be like the power that will push this spiritual being away. It's like hot fire. It will push them away and it's not good. It's harmful. You will not want to have things like dark brown, beige, that kind of color because these will also absorb the energy from this soul into your body, into your area. And it makes you sick and stuff. You don't want that to happen. You don't want yellow, bright yellow and bright purple, that kind of stuff, because they're actually very strong color and it will repel them away and it feels like they're around some fire and laser beams, things like that. So you don't want that kind of color to be there. So basically that's how it goes. And when you're going to a funeral, you're for sure going to pick up a lot of negative energies from the dead people. And also the place where like their funeral is held, there's like all kinds of dead people there all the time and all kinds of negative energy stuck around. You want to clear them out when you're home, okay? So the clothing have to like all go to the laundry. Don't keep them and just, just hang it dry and then, put it back to the closet. Don't, okay? Clean them up thoroughly. And also, it's a good idea to use fire to cleanse out these negative energy. Now, for normal people, you really can't do much because you don't have the what we call the magic, right? But if you're a disciple of our lineage, you can use the fire method, which is to use the fu, and then you burn and let the energy outside to get neutralized and like dissolve all the negative energy, and then you go into a fu water bath to soak in good energy into yourself to get yourself pumped. And then by doing that, you will basically clear out the negative energy pollution. So after that, you're good again. If you don't clear it out, what happens is these things will stick to your house, your furniture, your clothing, your work, and everything. Okay? So it contaminates. It's energy, so it contaminates. If you have things like the picture of this person, belonging of this person, things that belong to them, relate to them, it will be it's like a magnet. It will pull in more and more negative energy from this person and it sticks on everywhere like a virus. Very scary. So when someone is dead, you want to make sure their stuff is not always around your place. Okay? Like let's say, okay, if your mom is dead. You don't want your mom's rings and clothing and stuff and then you just put it on your body and keep using them. You don't want that to be there. Because all the dead people, negative energy is going to go through these things and portal to you. It's like a magnet. And it just keeps draining you out. So you don't want those things around. Okay? Unless, unless they are at the stage where they're done down there. They're moved back to the Yun San already, the spiritual planetary body. They move back there and now they're at the neutral stage, and that is the point when their stuff can be kept and reused. But it takes a long time, so why bothers, right? Why bothers? So basically that's how it goes. And what else? Oh yeah, one more question from my fans is how to deal with the body is the best way. When you burn the body, it's the best way because everything goes whoosh, and it helps you to vent out all the yang energy, the yang. So the yang energy get neutralized faster when you're burning up your body. When you're burying under the ground, it helps you to sink down and transition through. When you are actually tossing the stuff onto the ocean, then it helps you to settle better. Like when you're in that underground world, okay, that's when you're venting and going crazy and stuff like that. Okay, if your stuff is put into the ocean water, it will help you to settle and make you less mad and crazy and stuff like that. So it does help in a way, but it will also stop you from going back up and neutralize. So basically the best way is to burn. Okay, after burning the ashes, you can basically whatever you like, you can bury it, you can do whatever. Okay, and the main thing is you want to make sure that you don't take these dead people's stuff and put it back home. Okay, so because your house is not a place to store these things, you don't want these things to, you know, open portal at your house and have these things around. Okay, now for people who are always like dreaming about your parents or your relatives, the dead ones coming back to you, telling you this and that. Okay, I can tell you one thing, that do not believe all these things 100%. Not that they're lying to you, but sometimes you do not get the exact message right. So sometimes you dream about them and stuff like that, but yourself, like your soul, is not really in the state that you can clearly communicate with the soul beings yet, because you're not dead. So the message that you get from these beings is not 100% what they meant. And it could be a very off message. So the best way is to consult the professional like us here to see what to do. And we can check to see, oh, is your this person, did they cycle and finish and whatever, where they are right now, okay? So we can at least know the current status of the soul by checking it. And then we can have an estimation of what to do to get it sorted out and what they're missing and stuff like that. In the Chinese culture, you see people burning paper mache stuff all the time, and you'll be like, hey, is this going to really work? You know, burn a PS4, burn a car, burn some meat and stuff, you know, it's not going to work, right? Yeah, it basically that stuff is not really, like, you will not expect them to have these things. It's more like something for the human being to see, okay? It's like something the human being like to do. It's not something that they really need. But at the same time, with Taoist Magic, you can make those paper mache turn into energy. And these energy will actually turn into energy that empowers their soul, the dead person's soul. And they will actually be able to utilize these energy. As I said in the first video, in that world, they can make things if they like, and they need to have things with their own energy. So if you burn a lot of these things, they can turn it into whatever they want because they get more powerful. But at the same time, if you don't want them to always stick into that underground world, the after-death world, you want them to move on, then you don't really need to burn all these things, okay? There's no need to do it. You just do the magic ritual and you help them to cycle back, and basically that's it. That's how it works. Okay, so basically that's how it goes for the cycle of life in Taoism, and that's a general idea of it. So hope you like it. If you have questions, feel free to ask, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe and like. Bye-bye.